to a podcast about something where each week we dive deep into whatever it is we find interesting. I'm your host, Calvin, and joining me from inside a bank vault, your co-host, Nick Richardson.
Where's the van?
The getaway driver didn't come pick you up.
No, he didn't. Where's the goddamn
Shit.
van, Calvin?
He was supposed to be there 10 minutes ago. You got to get out of there, man. The cops are coming.
I mean, the paint bomb already exploded. I'm fucking blue. I look like I'm from
Yeah,
Arrested Development.
we're just gonna leave you behind now.
I'm gonna rat you out, you fuck. It's happening.
Sorry. Well, if you didn't know,
Sorry.
if you didn't know, we're talking. We're in the middle of a bank heist because we're talking heist movies today. We're giving out our patented movie superlatives to the best of the best heist movies. One of my favorite genres.
Yeah, who doesn't love a good heist movie?
I sure as hell do.
Well, let me rephrase. I feel like Americans really like a good heist movie.
Do other countries not?
I don't know. I haven't really heard of very many popular heist movies from other countries.
You got
I am
Snatch.
biased. I am American.
You got.
Pretty sure that was made by an American dude.
It might have been, but all the actors were British, so I gotta feel like it wasn't.
Brad Pitt is not
I guess
British.
Brad Pitt was in it, but yeah,
He's
everybody
Oklahoman,
else was.
homie.
Wasn't he doing like a bad British accent though?
No,
I never saw Snatch.
He's doing a bad Irish accent.
Oh,
He's good at it though. I mean, he
was good at his bad accent.
Well, I mean, you know how people from like the super rural parts of Alabama have that twang to it.
Yeah, been there.
Same thing applies to Irish people, and
yeah,
he does
true.
that very well.
Oh, he was doing like he was doing a very good job at like a thick,
like rambly,
over the top Irish accent,
gypsy accent.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got.
Very good. It was very.
I'm
good.
picking up what you're putting down. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Well, we might talk about Snatch more. I've never seen it, so I won't. But we are giving out movie superlatives. That is where we give our monthly awards to a different type of movie. We do it once a month. This month it's heist movies. We give one award per movie, one movie per award. No repeatsies.
No repeatsies, no takes backsies.
Definitely no take backsies.
Yeah.
Today we're giving out the best heist team, the best villain or reason for the job. I feel like those kind of going hand in hand. The best plan, the best getaway, and the best score. And that's not a musical score. It's what did they actually heist.
What the fuck did they pick up?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Exactly. So, let's get right to it and go with your pick for the best team. I feel like we're going to have the same answer here.
I don't think so, man.
right.
Best team, I got the Squad from The Town in 2010.
I do not have that. All right.
I figured you would not have The Town. And they're a wicked,
Not a big fan of The Town.
Fucking awesome team. I can't do a Boston accent. I shouldn't even try.
Not even close.
I could say
It's not like
really,
Leo and The Departed.
Well, I could say really shitty bad words with a bad Boston accent because of The Departed. But otherwise, I can't say anything else but like the F word and shit like that. But yeah, dude, that team is ballin'. I assume you've seen The Town?
I have. I saw it once when it came out. I wasn't a huge fan. I need to revisit it because like I've come a long way in my movie viewing since 2010 and like how I take things in. So it's definitely one that's on the list to give another try.
It's a fantastic movie, and the fact Ben Affleck, I'm pretty sure he wrote and directed it, kind of adds to the fun of it because it is super intense. It's really, it's shot really well. It's relatively realistic. It's got a great cast, and
yeah. So who's on the team? I feel like we got to say that if you're picking them for the best.
I'm not gonna go with names because two of them don't even matter. But you basically got Ben Affleck, who is this motherfucker named Doug McRae. Kind of comes from, a working class background. What up, Doug? He comes from a working class background. A lot of people think he's a piece of shit, but secretly he's a bank robber. And then you got his best buddy, Jeremy Renner, as Jimmy Coughlin. And he has been in and out of prison. He's kind of erratic and crazy. He's his right hand man, but he's got some problems. And then he's got a sister played by Blake Lively, who is fantastic in this fucking movie. And two other nameless guys basically, and there's a driver.
John Hamm's in there, right?
Yeah, he's the FBI guy.
Oh yeah,
or the
he's the other
DEA guy trying to
That's
get
right.
him. I want to say no, the FBI. But they got the driver, support guy. I want to say Jeremy Renner's the muscle, and Ben Affleck's the brains, and he's some really good brains. So I mean, they all come together really well.
I feel like he made himself the brains in the town because like nobody thought he actually had brains. Because if you've seen any of his movies previous to the town, like he's not ever playing the smart guy in them.
No, not
Because
necessarily.
like I feel like Ben Affleck, out of as much as famous actors can be, he's not the smartest one out there. So he like had to write himself in that way.
Well, I think he's a smart guy. I don't think he's ever been able to
Is he?
portray himself. Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's very successful, and he's been in a bunch of shit-ass movies. So
A lot of
I
people are
assume-
successful.
But have they
That
been
doesn't
in
mean
as
they're
many shit-ass movies as Ben Affleck? Not one, but two Marvel stinkers? Or Marvel and DC superhero stinkers?
Yeah, but I mean, you can't put anything that happened in Justice League or Batman v Superman on him because he was the best part of those movies.
And was still dog shit.
It was, but it wasn't his fault.
But
That's
anyway,
a good team.
great team.
I got one better though.
Hit me.
It's the quintessential team, Ocean's 11.
You know,
I mean,
debatable.
it's obviously it's a huge team, and it's one of the biggest teams in heist movie history. But that's kind of what makes it great. In other heist movies, people kind of have to share responsibilities. You're the driver and the brains. You're the trigger man and the lookout. Not in Ocean's 11, man. Danny Ocean, he's too smart for that. He knows he's going to need exactly one person to do each job, no more, no less, so he gets everybody in there.
That's
Just
too
run down
many
the team.
people.
But it's not, because it works. And then it works again, and then it works again. And then they try and have less people in Ocean's 8, and yeah, they got away with it, but that movie was garbage, so did it really work? No.
What are you trying to say, Calvin? What are you trying to say, bro?
I'm trying to say Ocean's 8 is a garbage movie.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Don't.
But there's a bunch of chicks in it, man, so I know.
Yeah, and they're
That
all
problem-
really great actors, and it should have been good, but they were all just doing their best impressions of their Ocean's 11 counterpart, rather than just like being themselves and doing what they're good at. They like Sandra Bullock spent the whole time trying to be George Clooney, and Cate Blanchett tried to be too much like Brad Pitt. And it's like it's not working. Like, do your own thing. You're all good at things. Rihanna might have been the best part of it,
That's saying a
because
lot.
she was just out there being Rihanna, and you could tell.
That's saying a fucking lot,
Yeah.
dude. She's
So
not a good
for
actress.
Ocean's 11, you've got George Clooney as the quintessential Danny Ocean, Bernie Mac, Brad Pitt. I'm just going down IMDb, so these might seem a little out of order. I don't know why they're in the order they're in, but Bernie Mac, Brad Pitt, Elliot Gould, Casey Affleck, Scott Conn, Matt Damon, Don Cheadle is in there.
Hell yeah.
Who am I missing? The
Casey Affleck?
the
didn't
Grease Man. I said Casey Affleck,
Did you?
the Grease Man. I don't remember what his name was though.
The Grease Man.
The little Asian guy.
The like gymnast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Linus. Carl Reiner's in there. Saul. Oh, Xiaobo Quinn as Yen, the amazing Yen.
Nice. He was amazing.
I mean, I don't know anything about this actor, but like that character, they needed him on the team. Nobody else could have done the things they would have. And then they've got a pretty good villain in Andy Garcia too, which is, a heist team is only as good as their villain or whomever they're stealing from.
Debatable. But that's a big factor.
You don't think John Hamm ups the ability for the town's heist team to be better versions of themselves?
I mean, absolutely, he's a natural foil, but still.
So when we talk, best team, there's something that goes along with that. It's you got to get the team together at some point. So I proposed a subcategory here of the best actual getting the team together scene. Usually it's a montage.
Yeah.
I went with Ocean's 11 still because like you get to see Danny recruiting everyone, and as he's recruiting everyone, you see what role they play and why they're the best at it, why he's so specifically looking for this person. And Ocean's 11 does a great job of like finding the team members and presenting their strengths and their flaws all at once and why these things are going to be important when it comes to the eventual score. Like, you see why Casey Affleck and Scott Conn are great to have on your team, but you also see them bickering the whole time. You see how great of a pickpocket Matt Damon is, but you also see like that he can get distracted, and Danny Ocean catches him really easily because he gets distracted. So you get to see all of that as they're picking up the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty sweet montage, and it kind of, these people would be basically, they wouldn't be nearly as useful or efficient unless they all work together in unison, and I think, being able to bring them all together is pretty dope in Danny Ocean's regard.
Yeah, you need all 11 of them.
You gotta, no, debatable. Debatable.
Which person do you not need that I just named?
10 of the others.
10 of the others? So you only need Danny Ocean?
That's too many fucking people, dude. Too many people know about that shit. Someone's gonna blab.
No, they don't want to lose their money. Why would they blab?
Because people are
no one
dicks.
Ever does.
People are dicks, Calvin.
I feel like the brother Casey Affleck and Scott Conn, like one of them would get pinched on something and like immediately give up the other one, and then it would just be a house of cards, and it'd all fall really fast.
There you go. Matt Damon's character might not like Asian people. Who knows? Like there's shit you can't see coming. But I mean,
that's true.
The old get together scene, personally, for my pick in the town, I chose their little montage before the final robbery of Fenway, when they're getting together, and it's very solemn and shit like that, and it's something intense is coming, and they're loading all their guns, and they're kind of prepping everything, and then they enact this gigantic plan. I think it's perfect, like that kind of moment before the storm breaks.
Yeah. All right, I'll give you that. All right, so let's move on to category number 2, the best villain / reason for the job. And villains are really tough in heist movies because they're usually like actual real world good guys. They're usually like the FBI or a detective of some sort.
Yeah.
You don't always want to see, like, if it's Terry Benedict, fine, like steal from this rich asshole. So you don't always want to see the villains lose as much as you just want to see the heisters get away with it and leave the detective or the FBI agent, whoever's after him, just leave them kind of unharmed and feeling a little stupid.
Well, I mean,
and then on the other hand,
most of those people are just relatable, that are
right, exactly,
conducting the heist.
They're just, yeah, and they're the protagonists of the movie. Like, we're supposed to be focusing on them. And then the other side of it is villains are just like dickish rich people, like your Terry Benedicts, or the guy in Logan Lucky who he owns the motor speedway or whatever, and he shits all over Adam Driver's one-armed bartender. Like, come on now, we don't need that.
There's people out there like that, don't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, but they don't make great villains. They're just kind of rich dickheads. So that's why I added the like reason for the job, because usually the rich dickhead provides the reason for the job, right? Mm-hmm. In some way.
That's true.
So for my pick, this is more leaning towards the reason for the job. It's Inception.
Good one.
But it also has some cool villain layers. It's got layers of villains, like it's got layers of dreams. And that's what makes this movie so great. You could say that the villain is Cillian Murphy, who they're trying to steal the information from. You can say it's the generic rich guy who hired him, or it's
Cobb.
It's Cobb himself, or it's Mal in Limbo. It's all great if you want to focus on one of those people as the main villain. But again, I picked this more because the reason for the job, and Cobb just wants to be able to look his kids in the face again. And to me, there's no better reason than that to do anything.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. If it was between me and my daughter, I would do fucking anything. I don't care.
And there's still a lot of debate out there on whether at the end, spoilers for Inception, if it's real or not. But none of that actually matters, because I think Christopher Nolan even kind of like hinted at this, that it doesn't matter if the top falls or not, because Cobb thinks he's back home. And that's the thing that's important. He doesn't care anymore about his totem. He can look in his kid's face, whether it's real or not. It's real to him now.
That's all that matters.
And so he wanted to get his kids back, but he also went into this job, because there's always one last job, right?
Absolutely.
Every heist movie, you got to do one last job. Unless it's Fast and Furious, then there's, infinity last jobs.
There's 10 at least, which we've written, the basic script for.
Yeah, we've got it. Call us up, Universal.
Hit us up.
So he goes into this job training his replacement in Ellen Page. He needed her to succeed in this job and to like be able to keep him focused and out of limbo so that the rest of the team knew that they're in good hands moving forward after this. Because like he knew either way this was his last job, but the rest of the team like they could still be in it. So he needed to make sure that what's her name? Ariadne was trained properly and ready to go. And he did a good job of that. So he's going into this job with training in mind and to get his kids back. Those are two great reasons.
I mean, I completely agree. 100%.
But you're going to disagree, aren't you?
Yeah, that's not my choice.
All right, good.
Best
It's never
villain.
fun when we agree.
No, it moves quickly though, which isn't necessarily fun. But
No.
best villain, reason for the job. I chose Edward Norton's Steve from the Italian Job. Fuck that guy from the old 2003. His stupid little mustache. He's a piece of shit. Fuck that guy.
I know I saw that. I don't remember it very well.
It's
though.
been so long since I've seen it, but he's a good villain because he was part of the team, and they pull off a giant score of like $35 million, and then he kills the like matriarch of their team / so it's like if someone killed Vin Diesel in Fast and
Shit.
Furious. Yeah,
We can't do that.
game on. And then they all get either killed or busted, and he gets away with all the fucking money. And they end up, the reason for the Italian Job is to basically fucking get Steve back. So they end up stealing all the money and, getting Steve back, which I think that's pretty dope. They killed your like father figure.
Revenge.
You went to prison or did some time in some sort of way. You're broke as fuck. He's super rich. Fuck that. That's bogus.
Yeah,
Left
fuck
him
you,
for dead.
Steve.
Yeah. And then, after they pulled up the heist and did all the work, like he couldn't have done it by himself, and then he does that shit, and his name is Steve, like the most basic name ever. This movie's full of them, though, I gotta say. His name's Steve. He killed some guy named John, like, pretty.
Yeah, I feel
white
like in a
bread
heist
names.
movie you gotta have better names.
Enrique or Javier or something.
I don't know, but I don't know that I'd go that far. But like
You gotta mix it up.
even in Ocean's 11, you got Danny, you've got Linus, you've got Rusty. I mean, you got a Frank in there, but you got a Saul, a Ruben, a lot of good in a Yen.
Yeah, those are all fucking. It's like someone just looked around their house or something. They're like, yeah, that Rusty box ring, Rusty. I like that.
Well, it's also
It's
like
the Reuben sandwich.
a guy named Steve is not going to grow up to be involved in heists. He's got too much going for him. Steve can get a job doing sales at any place he wants to. But Linus, he's got to make his money pickpocketing. Like,
Yeah,
nobody's going to hire Linus.
I expect
To be
a
their
guy named
accountant.
Linus.
Yeah.
We're gonna get an email from a guy named Linus to be like, "Fuck you guys! I
I'm
am
an
a
accountant."
volunteer. I'm a pastor. You assholes!"
Shout out Linus.
Shout out Linus. If you pulled off any heist, please let us know. We will keep
Yeah.
it secret. Pinky promise.
So let's move. I'm trying to move. I ordered these in a way that we're kind of like moving through the heist. So first you get your team together, then you come up against your villain, right? So now comes the big part. You know who your villain is. You got to come up with a plan. What's the best plan in a heist movie?
The best plan in a heist movie, and it's honestly, what sucks about it is it wasn't that big of a payoff. It's relatively minimal in the greater scheme of things, but this is from 1995's Heat, and that's the armored truck
Never
robbery.
seen Heat.
Dude, go to YouTube, folks.
I
Go to
know, I
YouTube.
know.
We'll post it on there. It's a 5-minute and 2-second clip, and it is.
I know
so,
I need to see Heat. I watched Casino first, which was a bad plan. Like, Casino's not good.
Casino's good. It's just very slow.
Long and boring, and yeah, not very good.
It's a better Irishman.
It's
in my
It's a
opinion.
well-made movie. That does not mean it's a good movie.
Well, those actors were in their prime.
That's like I watched Ford vs Ferrari earlier today. Like, that's a well-made movie, but it's not a good movie.
That's a fair
It's
point.
just it's a long, boring movie that like 50-year-old dads watch.
I've seen Casino like 3 or 4 times. I've seen Heat probably 10 times.
I know
And-
Heat is good, and like it's on my list. I just have never actually watched it.
Well, Heat's good for multiple reasons, but the plan is really what.
Let's hear about this plan.
So, it's a
You
group
can
of.
go ahead and spoil it. I don't really care. It's
Spoilers
25
ahead.
years old. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 5-minute and 2-second clip on YouTube. Just search Heat armored truck scene. So their goal is to rob an armored truck of bearer bonds, and it's a group of 5 or 6 guys. I want to say it might be 4, but they've scouted out everything. They know the route the truck's taking. They're communicating via walkie-talkie. They're wearing bulletproof vests, and they're just very well prepared for any eventuality. They have a demolitions expert who, has the right charge to disorient the officers on board, disarm the door, and be able to get inside still without it being a complete wreck and destroying what you're trying to steal in the first place. And it goes great. They barely say a word. Everything's timed. No one's really hurt, and then one guy kind of loses his shit and ends up killing a cop, and they got to kill all 3 cops involved.
One guy always fucks it up.
Always fucks it up. But...
that should have been one of our award, best guy that fucked up the plan.
Oh, seriously, because there's one in every group. But even then, they kind of had contingencies in place. They got what they needed. They bounced out in a ambulance. An ambulance.
Ambulance.
An ambulance. But they had, a second vehicle waiting. They burned out the ambulance. They had a strip laid down for the cops to run over, which just caused a pileup, basically. So they were prepared for any eventuality, even though they went completely off script. And, yeah, they still got their score and got away.
The great team leaders, which that could have been another category too, best team leaders, but I feel like that goes with best team. Doesn't matter. The great team leaders, they've always got a contingency for their contingency for their contingency.
Yeah, they're Batman-esque.
Exactly. And I feel like after you describing that scene, basically not every heist movie, but a lot of heist movies have ripped off that let's rob an armored truck sequence. There's a lot that I think Takers did it. Baby Driver did it. Like, there's a bunch out there that are more recent that are like, let's just rob an armored truck because that's fucking easy.
I mean, most people employed by
I forgot about Takers. I didn't even think to look at Takers.
Haven't seen that in forever, but most armored truck
very good.
Drivers, they're never very good, are kind of overweight, and I met a lot of armored truck drivers when I worked at Macy's, because we had
so
a drop.
Saying we could pull off one of these jobs.
Most of the drivers I saw would have to dust off their fingers of Cheeto and Dorito dust before they could get a nice firm grip on a trigger. But this is something where they just have it all planned out. Like, the contingency factor is really what does it for me, and the complexity of their... it's still a hard thing to do, to rob an armored vehicle. Otherwise, people would knock off armored vehicles all the fucking time. But,
well, exactly.
And the professionalism is what came to mind for me. And I think when you have a good plan, it enables you to enact that plan with confidence, and that's, they barely said a fucking word the whole time, which I thought was super cool.
I just looked up Takers, because we were talking about it, or like we mentioned it, I don't know that we were talking about it. Listen to this cast for a second. Chris Brown, Hayden Christensen, Matt Dillon, Michael Ealy, Idris Elba, Steve Harris, I don't know who that is, T.I., Jay Hernandez, Paul Walker.
Jesus Christ, it's a bunch of shitty B-list actors. That's sad.
I don't even know if those guys are B-list, man. Idris Elba, he's good. I don't know if he's good in this movie. I don't remember it. But I feel like he was mailing in that performance. T.I. was like going all for it in that one.
T.I. goes for everything.
Yeah.
See our rap beefs from last week.
He went after this movie like he went after Lil Flip.
Or a little Flip. My dude.
So, I might have to rewatch Takers. I think I remember, like, the heist was really good in that, but the movie around it was not. And, like, I just named those actors. You could see why.
I'll leave that up to you. You can tell me all about it.
Yeah, I'll watch it again and let everyone know. Takers did not win any awards. I completely forgot about it until we mentioned it 3 minutes ago.
I imagine it didn't win any awards, especially from 2010. I mean, those guys were all... either at the end of their career, like the downfall of their career, or
Chris Brown hadn't yet gotten caught beating Rihanna, so like he was still kind of at the tip of his career. T.I. was like trying to translate into being an actual actor because he had been an American Gangster already. Paul Walker was like, I guess they had just done Fast and Furious, the fourth one. So he was like kind of trying to get back on his game. Idris Elba, he was on the come up. Like it was after The Wire. It was after his stint on The Office, which, I mean, those are the only two things that matter, right, for Idris Elba.
Hell yeah. Thor.
Hayden Christensen was coming off Star Wars and Jumper.
Yeah. Well,
I kind of like Jumper.
I liked it. It was a good movie.
It's a good idea, and it's, again, bad actors. I really like Rachel Bilson, but, like, Hayden Christensen's just bad, and the little, like, Scottish guy's not very good either.
No, he's creepy.
Yeah. Anyway, so my best plan goes to someone that didn't need any contingencies because he planned so well. Inside Man.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh my god.
I heard
Alright,
it's
you've gotta
super
watch
good, dude. I've heard it's awesome.
Well, now I can't go into my whole explanation because it's going to give away the whole movie.
Give it away. I mean, what is it, from 2006?
06, I think, yeah. So Clive Owen has this thing planned down to a T, and he just nailed it. So first he holds up a bank with guns and accomplices and everything, grabs some hostages. Then he negotiates, quote-unquote negotiates, with detectives, so they look into the history of the vault that he's robbing, which incriminates the owner, who happened to be a Nazi sympathizer and profited off Nazis. It's a big no-no in the world in 2006. Then he takes...
any year, let's just say that.
Well, yeah. I don't know if it's as big a no-no now, like...
Dude, this is super no-no
right now. Think that it might not be. It should be.
Big no-no.
So he takes this time as he's negotiating and taking hostages and kind of playing the detectives. He takes this time to disguise his accomplices as regular people who would have been at the bank, and then he eventually releases all of the hostages and all of his accomplices out the front door. There's probably like 100 people that all run out at the same time, because it's New York City, big bank. They all run out at the same time. There's like smoke grenades going off. Everybody's getting confused. The cops are taking everyone down they can get their hands on, trying to get people into custody so they can question them, right? So no one can tell who was in on it and who wasn't, because like during the whole thing with the hostages, they have masks on enough, but they still have some identifying features that would allow the people to kind of point to somebody, but there's always somebody that was an actual patron that looks kind of like them anyway. So like he thought about that and picked generic looking people to be his accomplices and to kind of match people who would just be out in their everyday lives. So nobody could actually identify any of the accomplices versus any of the actual bank patrons.
And
the accomplices, concrete. Right. And the accomplices, they're playing their part too. They're saying, they're blaming other people who are just patrons because they know that they were accomplices. They're doing everything they can. So also during this time, they build a false wall inside the vault where Clive Owen hides out for a week until the clamor of the bank robbery dies down. He's in there. They dig a hole in the ground so he can shit in. Like, he's just chilling in this bank vault behind a fake wall.
God damn, that'd be so boring.
Yeah, like I think he brought a Game Boy or something.
I was literally thinking I would have to.
I think he had a handheld game system or something
PSP
like that.
or something.
Yeah.
Play GTA.
So no one notices anything's missing because the Nazi safe deposit box was not on record. It was actually there when the bank was built and kept off the record because of how he obtained these diamonds that were held in it, right?
Nazis.
Right, exactly. So then a week later, Clive Owen walks out the front door completely unnoticed, unscathed, having accomplished all of his goals in outing the Nazi profiteer, making the detective look like an idiot, and he's got a buttload of diamonds.
You know, it would have been even better
if you would see the movie and you would see how good this plan actually worked rather than me describing it poorly.
And if he was Jewish, that would have been awesome. Oh, dude, that would be so. I hope so.
I think that's part of his raison d'etre. Like, that's why he wants to be there, and he's the one, pointing it out. And he also, he gives Denzel, the detective, a nice little ring on his way out, or a nice little diamond on his way out too. He like bumps into him. Denzel has no idea it's him because he's like wearing a hat and just got normal clothes on, and they think this guy just got away a week ago, and nope, he was just sitting in there chilling,
taking shits in the ground, whatever.
Yep.
No one smells that.
I mean, you do what you do for a buttload of diamonds.
Why does this money vault smell like Dookie? I don't fucking know.
I guess nobody went in there that week. I don't know.
that entire fucking week. No one's like, man, it smells like shit in here. I wonder what's going. God damn it, Samantha, quit using the vault to fart in. I used his office to fart in.
And then I just kind of got comfortable in there. Canceled all their credit cards.
You should let the criminal keep using.
I had a runner-up on this one, too, with Logan Lucky. They had a really good plan in Logan Lucky, and they got everything planned out with, running the cockroaches through the tubes to find the right one, the escape from prison, all of that. They just really had to get supremely lucky, no pun intended, to actually pull it off. Inside Man was like too on point for anyone to contend with other than maybe one of the Oceans, because their plans are all like super intricate and they have everything contingencies on contingencies. Inside Man just didn't need any of the contingencies, and Logan Lucky, that had a lot of luck involved.
That's like 92% luck.
Yeah.
Going on record saying that, but I think that's a pretty good pick. I've never seen it, but I've heard anyone that's ever mentioned it to me has been like, it's fucking fantastic.
And like I just described it, but like the way I described it could not do any justice to what actually happens. Like you could still watch it knowing that he's gonna hide in the wall and like be amazed by how it goes down.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that as well. But I think honestly we're kind of on par in regards to best plans. I mean, they both succeeded in getting away. Where I think, Clive Owens is definitely more, it's got more grandeur and like a better payoff in the end. I think the armored truck robbery involved more variables.
Yes. And with Clive Owen, like he's sitting there talking shit to Denzel the whole time leading up to this because he knows how he's going to get out. And he's just like, there's nothing you can do to stop me.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
I'm not a big Clive Owen fan, but I liked him in this.
Yeah, I've never really liked him in much, but I'll have to check it out.
All right. Let's move on to the best getaway.
Boom.
And this is going to be my ISO spot. You just got to let me spin here.
Hit it.
Because it's Fast 5.
Hit it. You motherfucker.
It's Fast 5.
I knew you were going to say... You said Fast 5 like 15 times before we got to this category, so I assumed you were going to do Fast 5.
Hard not to give this to Baby Driver with the many getaway scenes, but Fast 5's getaway with the bank vault is just too epic to overlook. And I talked about it a lot when we did the Fast and Furious movie Superlatives back in August. Go check that out if you want to go like super deep into this. But there was no CGI involved with the vault. There was like literally a truck in there driving the vault behind Dom and Brian's cars, which I'm guessing Dom and Brian were actually driving those cars either.
Probably not.
And it's just, it's got to be a top tier getaway when the cop chasing you just like gives up and decides to let you go.
Yeah, that's super on.
It's one thing to be going up against like a rich dick like Terry Benedict and he's like, you got me. But like to go against a cop who is The Rock and for him to just be like, all right,
fam.
Y'all are cool.
Yeah. We should team up later because y'all
I'll give you
are rich
a call
as fuck.
I'll give you a call in a year and a half when Fast and Furious 6 comes out.
Please, because y'all are rich and I make 35 G's a year. I don't get paid for this shit.
But yeah, I don't have a lot to say on it. Like I said, we did it all in the Fast and Furious movie Superlatives. If you want to hear me go on for like an hour and a half just on Fast and Furious, listen to that. I can't do it justice because I don't have the research behind it right now. Like I watched all those movies right then. I haven't watched them since.
It's
a good getaway. You got great chase scenes. You've got a bank vault flying through a bunch of shit. You got some good car stunts. You've got a good score at the end of it too.
Yeah,
which
I
can't.
At the height of their power then. Like that was when the Fast and Furious franchise was really hitting its stride and like gaining momentum. And
that was before they went too far the other direction too.
Exactly.
Like they've pulled heists in all the subsequent movies. They've pulled heists, but they're not actually heists because they're like working for the government and stuff. So they're stealing things that they own back from somebody who stole it from them. And it's like this was like them still being on the bad side of the law per se, and just going all out because if they could make this score, then everything would be fine.
Yeah, they're outlaws.
And now it's just like, well, the Rock called, so we'll go hang out and drive some cars.
Yeah, I mean they were outlaws, and then after that they became the feds.
Yeah,
just booty.
But they're always family.
always family. Until Paul Walker did.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. We didn't have to
Said
bring that up.
something.
All right, what was your best getaway? It's Fast Five, right?
No, it's not. It's actually my best getaway, and this is more so because everyone relatively got away, and there was a semi-happy ending, and that was Logan Lucky. We mentioned it already.
Yeah.
It was a great fucking movie. Everybody
That's
much.
a low key good getaway too.
Well, they get away.
Yeah,
like that's
important.
That's kind of the big thing for me. Like when I think back on heist movies, most everybody on the teams ends up dying, and there's usually like one or two people who really
get
away.
caught or something. Yeah,
exactly. Or they pay a huge price. But I feel like in Logan Lucky, they got what they needed without giant sacrifice. Like a couple of them went to prison, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, but like one of them went to prison on purpose, and the other one was already in prison.
Yeah, so I mean these.
So like Adam Driver went to prison specifically
right,
to go to prison and recruit Daniel Craig.
Yeah, to do the explosives expert to do the breakout. And like
right.
You mentioned how their plan involved a ton of luck, and I think that's what makes it even better. But the fact that they all get away, they really genuinely succeeded, and that's fucking dope.
And they get away with it in a way that nobody thinks they got away with it, because Channing Tatum like returns some of the money at the end, but he keeps a big chunk of it too. So like, and because it was all cash transactions, nobody knew how much was actually stolen from them. They were able to give a portion of it back and still be like, yep, you got what you needed, and we actually got what we needed, and you didn't even know. And another great thing about that getaway is not only does like Channing Tatum get away and be able to stash the money and whatever, and his sister gets away and does whatever she needs to do, but Daniel Craig and Adam Driver, they get away back to prison. Like not only do they break out of prison, but they break back into prison as part of the getaway.
Well, yeah, the plan succeeds, and I mean it's something where those people seem like they were kind of structured in a way where they were happier with less. Like they didn't need a giant score, but they wanted to be, they wanted to be able to live their lives and not have to work 24/7 and barely, be able to live or pay for anything.
And Channing Tatum got to make it to his daughter's show.
Yeah,
her talent show, which is always great.
They had realistic wants, and they pulled off a crazy, super lucky heist, and they stuck to it instead of going bananas. And I think that leads to the best getaway, in my opinion.
All right. I mean, they weren't dragging a bank vault through the streets of Brazil, so it's the second best getaway.
I mean, they could get away with that in Brazil, not in America.
Not in Charlotte, man. Not at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
No. Fuck no. But I mean, I could see something like that going down, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was based on a true story. Not like, I didn't think it ever succeeded, because that would have been a bigger story, but I thought it was like one of those things that it was like the idea was there, like somebody had the idea to try and rob like a NASCAR race, but they got caught hilariously stupidly before it even started, so they just made a movie like what would have happened if they succeeded. I didn't realize that it was like all completely falsified.
They called it Logan Unlucky. This unlucky bastard.
I thought it was one of those things where they're like adapting something that kind of actually happened, but not quite. But no. That brings us to the final part of any heist movie.
Hell yeah.
The most important for the characters, at least. Let's talk about the score. What is your best score?
Best score. This guy had to sacrifice a lot. He went through a lot of bullshit, but he ended up in the best position, in my opinion. He ended up with oil wells, his family farm, like he's in a good position, and he's basically off scot-free. And that's fucking Toby, from Hell or High Water,
Toby
2016.
Anderson?
Yeah, the Scranton Strangler. No, Chris Pine. Have you ever seen Hell or High Water?
No, I didn't see Hell or High Water.
Fantastic movie. Him and his brother, they got a family farm, and they're gonna lose it, and they end up starting to rob banks, and they pull a big score to, their home is gonna get foreclosed on, but they know oil is on the property, So it's like, okay, we got to pay off this foreclosure, or pay off so we don't go into foreclosure, so we can reap the benefits of the oil. And that's kind of when they end up pulling a couple bank heists. His brother gets killed, which sucks or whatever.
Obviously.
Yeah. But he ends up being able to pay off all the loans. It can't be traced to him, and he's basically a oil baron now, rich as fuck. Everything's all taken care of, and his brother was a dick anyway. So that's the best score in my opinion, because it's all legal money. It's like fucking liquid legal gold.
Well, except what they paid his farm off with.
Which is bank money.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all free money. But his brother was kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, brothers do that from time to time.
His brother killed a couple people, and he was not down with that.
Somebody's always got to fuck up the plan.
Seriously. That's how it always goes. Someone's got to be a dick.
I had a hard time on this because I picked all the good movies that like came to my mind already.
Mm-hmm.
I went with Gone in 60 Seconds.
Damn, that is a bad movie, but a good pick.
Yeah, they steal 50 cars within 72 hours, almost. The
Almost.
last one doesn't get there quite in time.
Just barely.
But they still pull it off, and they don't actually get to keep the car, so like maybe it's not a great score for them, but like the score is good, even though it's not their score necessarily.
Well, yeah,
like,
and they're not just any cars.
Stealing
These are
50 high-end cars. That's solid work there.
And let me just say this. Angelina
Go ahead.
Jolie.
Yeah, she's looking good there.
She's looking real good.
That's a good score for Nick Cage too there.
Seriously, with it, he's already got the receding hairline and everything. And
that might be the better score of the movie. That he ends up he doesn't get any of the cars, but he gets Angelina Jolie.
There you go. That's the best score. If you would have picked that, dude, that would have been the best pick of any pick we've ever had.
I mean, it still fits.
Dude, that's
like I really wanted to go Fast 5 because I get $100 million or whatever, but like the getaway is better than the score in Fast 5, so you can't. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, I changed my pick from here on out. I chose Angelina Jolie from
Jolie
60 Seconds. I will take that over a shit ton of cash.
But yeah, just being able to come away with 50 cars in 2.5 days, like that's pretty amazing and skillful, and like somebody gets to reap the reward out of that.
Yeah, you're not sleeping to get that done. And stealing cars, I imagine, is not fucking easy.
No, absolutely not. And that's what I think ups the level of the score here is the difficulty of it. Like you've got to, it's not only just getting money while nobody's looking. You've got to get the car away and then keep the car away, because cars can be found a lot easier than like a stack of hundreds can.
Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah, especially if you just don't spin the hundreds.
You can't launder a car.
No, I mean, there's certain things you could break it down at a chop shop, but that's not what they're stealing.
You can go on
cars
Craigslist
for.
and probably try and get rid of it pretty easily.
You would get found so quick, man. You know, that's the first place cops look is Craigslist. They're like, yeah, a car got stolen. I'll bet it's on Craigslist.
All right, well, don't buy cars off Craigslist if they're stolen.
Well, I mean, yeah. Don't do that, because going to jail is not tight.
No. So, those are our awards. We gave out best team, best villain / reason for the job, best plan, best getaway, and the best score. But we can't leave you with a little bit extra to talk about, starting with, what is your favorite heist movie?
Snatch, hands down.
Wow, didn't even win an award.
Dude, I don't think
it
technically fits in a heist movie, because it's more character interaction than like focus on the heist, but the heist is the stimulus that leads the movie. So
well, and some movies are like one of my picks for favorite, like I didn't give it any awards because it doesn't do anything best, but it's super enjoyable. So I picked Baby Driver, which is more recent, but like it doesn't do any of the things that we were giving out best, but it's just super fun to watch from beginning to end. You can jump in at any point. All of the actors are pitch perfect in their portrayals of the characters. Even gross Kevin Spacey. Like, I hate it, but, like, he was really good. But he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, but he was very good.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah, I mean, Seven, fucking great movie.
Everything. Like, I'm sure there's some movies that are bad of his, because he's done a lot, but, like...
K-Pax.
Most of the movies I've seen him in, he's engaging. And, like, that's probably why he was able to get away with being such a piece of shit for so long too.
Yeah, I mean that kind of leads the way, but I've never seen Baby Driver
I
in
thought you had
full.
seen it. Oh,
Never
okay.
in full. I've seen old, like, I want to say probably 90% of it, but never
But like, I
the
couldn't even tell
100% thing.
you what the actual score from that movie is. I don't even think there is one really. Like they get one early. The team is not a good heist team at all. They're all at each other's throats all the time. Um, the there's really good getaways because that's what it's about. It's about the wheelman here. But my other pick for favorite is Ocean's 11, really, and 12 and 13. I like all three of them, not Ocean's 8. Um, I think Ocean's 11 was the first heist movie I saw, and
Really?
it was like a really great introduction to the genre because every character and role on the team is perfect. I can't really think of a single thing that I would replace in any of the three movies to make them better. Like I think they kind of one up themselves in a natural way, and even like Ocean's 12 is the worst, but they do it in an interesting way where like the heist is done super early in the movie and everything else is just subterfuge until they get to the end and like, oh no, we stole that like a week ago, dude.
Yeah.
And they explain the whole
Sorry,
thing.
we're the worst.
And they're all just extremely rewatchable, especially Ocean's 11. And like honestly, that's what I'm looking for when I see a movie and like a movie. It's, am I gonna watch this whenever it's on TV?
Right?
Or like if I'm sitting there on a Saturday with nothing to do and I've got 2 hours before my family comes home, what are the movies I'm picking from? And all three of these are in that consideration, and Baby Driver is too now.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta watch it start to finish. Got
Yeah,
to.
you should.
I mean, I
So
think that
let's,
kind of leads us into what makes a great heist movie, though.
yes, and we had a Twitter poll on that today.
We do.
The Twitter poll was actually what's the best part of a heist movie, but kind of same thing.
We can throw that in there.
Yeah. So we saw what's the best part of the heist movie. Getting the team together won the poll, 35.5%. The getaway came in second with 32.3%. The score, 29%, and then other 3.2%. Because like those are the only three things that you really need in a heist movie. I think that's why we didn't get a lot for other.
Well, that makes the majority of the heist movie. Might be a
Right.
romance in there.
Yeah, somebody fucks up the plan. That you got to throw that in there.
Yeah, there's the
Which
fuck
I mean
up.
that at Alamo Lauren, she says the plan is the best part, which I agree. Her commenting that made me change one of the categories to include the plan because that is an important part. And then the Talking Heads Footy Podcast at TTHF Podcast. If I have Ocean's 11 as example, the getting the team together was good, but the training and the score were epic. I always think training goes with the plan. Like the training montage and the plan montage are usually the same thing.
I agree.
And then he says, or if you look at Entrapment, the training and the ending were the best bits, so I'll go for the prep overall, which, that goes with the plan.
Also agree.
Yeah. So thank you to those guys who participated. We do polls every week at APA something on Twitter, and you can always talk to us on Twitter at APA something and at alone_podcast. But if you participate in a poll, we will shout you out on the show.
Please do, because we like when you guys talk to us, and we like talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And we like talking.
Yeah.
Hence podcast.
Hence the podcast. Usually goes for more than an hour.
So what makes a great heist movie in your mind?
I mean, it's a multitude of things. Like I think they have to have like a good reason to perform the heist. I think it has to be reasonable, like relatively. That's kind of why Logan Lucky didn't necessarily win my favorite heist movie. I prefer
Right, like that's not a believable like that they would get away with that.
Exactly, and I mean, I really like logical heists, like the way you describe Inside Man. I think that makes a perfect heist. Like, I'm guessing not a lot of people got killed. They used
no one got killed.
Yeah, exactly. They use minimal violence. It's more of a mind game than anything.
Right.
That's kind of what leads to my favorite kind of heist movies, because when it's just like Heat, a ton of fucking people die, and I think that's more so an easy way out. Like, it's just
it's an easy way out, and
damage.
it's an easy way to give you an emotional investment rather than like actually having to invest in the characters. They say, oh well, this guy's friend died, so now you want him to get away with it. But like in Oceans, you want them to get away with it because they're a likable team of dudes that like are going against unlikable dudes, right? Like
Yeah,
Andy
there's someone you
Garcia
can view
is
as a villain.
unlikable. The French guy in the second one is unlikable, and then we go back to Al Pacino and Andy Garcia in the third one. They're unlikable, and that's part of what the problem with Ocean's 8 was. Is there wasn't like this villain, like they were just stealing for the sake of stealing. There wasn't like a reason behind it other than they liked stealing.
Yeah, I want stuff, so I'm gonna steal this.
Right. I agree. It's pretty much all of the things that we talked about. I think the team is the most important part. Like they have to have good chemistry, and it has to be believable that these guys or girls would work together.
Yes.
But then they also have to have like their eventual falling out where like two or more of them disagree on something. That part has to be believable too. And then they eventually get back together. Like it's all very formulaic, but it's fun to watch those things happen if you're invested in who the characters are. And then like you said, the villain / reason for the job, that's really important. That's probably second to who the team actually is, because as I said before, the heist team is only as good as their reasoning.
100%.
If they don't have a good reason to do it, then I don't care that they get away with the heist. I'd probably rather see them get caught.
100%.
If they're just like, oh, there's something over there. That's like
I'm bored. Let's do this.
Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington, Two Guns. Not a great heist movie, and they
Never seen that movie.
It's not very good, and they just like want something because they want all this money. They're not the person they're stealing it from. It's just a bank. It's just the bank that's in their town. They're just stealing it to steal it so they have money. There's no real like drive behind them.
Yeah, I want to be rich, son, so I'm gonna go steal all this money. No, I gotta save my kid or my family or my fucking family home from being foreclosed on.
Right. The plan has to be good, but ultimately it doesn't matter because the plan's going to fail until you realize that the plan failing was always part of the plan to begin with. So the plan actually succeeds because you meant to fail because that was part of the plan the whole time. And like, that they're going to get away with it because you're watching, like they're the protagonists of the movie. They're going to get their score. So like everything that happens between the plan and them actually getting away doesn't really matter.
I'd agree with that to a certain extent.
But the planning scenes are fun to watch usually.
Oh,
of how are we going to pull this off?
Hell yeah, dude, 100%.
And then the getaway and like the score reveal or how they got away with it revealed, those are usually like really exciting bits, but again, they don't really matter because we know they're going to get whatever they're stealing. The fun is in the build up and the fallout and what goes wrong, all that kind of stuff. Not, okay, you got your $10 million. Great.
Yeah. Woo!
Did we miss any categories while we went through this?
I think we mentioned a couple, but they are escaping me at the moment.
Yeah, we said like the best fuck up, which I don't have anything off the top of my head. One that I wanted to talk about, it was originally one of our main categories, but it's not, is the best gimmick. And with heist movies, sometimes it's not good enough to just be stealing stuff. They have to do it in like a crazy or different way. So there's some good gimmicks out there, like Ant-Man. We got to steal something, but our guy can shrink, and now so can the other guy. He can shrink too. So now we've got a tiny heist. You got Endgame, you got a time heist in Avengers Endgame. You got Ocean's 12 where they do the fake heist within the real heist, and then they reveal it all at the end. But my favorite is this movie called American Animals. And this was based on a true story of like this art robbery at a college. And they intermix the real people with the fictional retelling of it. So like they'd show a couple scenes of the fictional telling with Evan Peters was the main character and he was really good in it. So I'd show a couple scenes of that, and then all of a sudden they'd be doing like a reality show solo interview type thing with one of the real guys that did it and like what their thinking was behind it, or like what they thought the first time they met this other dude. Like it was really cool how they brought that together, because the heist that they pull off, I don't even know if they actually pull it off or not. I guess they don't because they got arrested. That wasn't that exciting, but mixing in the real people made it really like fun to watch.
Oh, I bet that was dope as fuck.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Watch American Animals.
I'll check that shit out. I like Evan Peters.
He's does a really good job in it, and it's just really cool how they mix the guys in, and it's almost like a Dateline episode, but with actual real Hollywood actors and production behind it when they're doing the retelling.
Kind of like Band of Brothers.
I guess I never saw Band of Brothers.
Fantastic. Anyway. Okay. You're like, I will never watch it, but I'll take your word for it, bro.
Yeah, sounds fantastic.
It's fair. It's fair.
So what is your favorite part of the Heist movie? Bring it all the way back.
Ooh.
What part do you want to see the most when you're like, all right, it's a heist. I can't wait to see what they do with blank.
The prep. I love the
Okay.
prep. Like, that's kind of why I chose the town, because I think it's so neat how they methodically clean everything, and just there's no detail that's been overlooked. And rehearsing and working towards this plan, I think, is really, really fascinating. So the prep is really what gets me into a good heist movie. Like, the plan can be awesome, but if I don't see the prep leading up to it, then I just think the plan
Yeah, if you don't
can
see
be
the work
outrageous.
that goes into the actual plan,
Yeah,
then the plan doesn't matter.
It can be outrageous. It just comes across as outrageous. Like, if I didn't see the prep in the town, that getaway scene would have looked outrageous as fuck. But it's like,
Right.
okay, I understand how these guys are getting away with these crimes because of their prep I'm seeing. So that's what really does it for me in a heist movie.
I'll give you that. And again, another great chance for a montage with the prep. Anywhere you can throw a montage in, like, I'm there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which brings me to my favorite part, which is the getting the gang together scene. Like, going out, finding everyone. What's this guy good at? Why haven't we spoken in 10 years? All that stuff. Like, give me all of that, and, like, let's see how they interact. If you've got a good team. If you got a shitty team, then I don't care. But the other part is, like, the reveal of how they got away with it. And that is more just towards the Ocean's movies, because they always have a really great way of, like, showing that reveal of, you thought we were doing this, but we actually did this. Because they always have this little bit of, what am I trying to say?
Misdirection.
Yeah, misdirection. Right.
Like,
that's exactly what I was trying to say.
How or if they get away.
Right. It always looks like they're stopped, and Benedict's got them right where they want them. And like, do you really though? And then it like rewinds 10 minutes or whatever and shows what actually happened.
Yeah, I love when that happens. It's super fun.
Yeah, and that you get kind of the same thing, same kind of scene in Inside Man, which is another reason why that's on the top of my list of one of the better heist movies. Of like, I like it, like, Logan Lucky, Baby Driver. Those movies present to you exactly what's going on the whole time, and that's kind of fun to watch as just linearly how it's going down.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this, like, let's see what really happened. Fast Five is another one that does it. When The Rock discovers the vault they left him was empty, they rewind everything and show how they actually got the vault with the money. So I always like when that happens.
Yeah, that's usually a lot of fun.
Anything else on heist movies?
I think that's it on heist movies.
I'm waiting for the next best one. I love heist movies. One of my top 3 genres, probably.
We usually get a super good one like every 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. And even like bad ones are usually still pretty enjoyable. Like Takers was like not a waste of 2 hours when you watch. Like, it's not a good movie, but like it had some fun in it.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you can have some fun, I'm game for that.
Exactly. All right, so that's all we got. Thank you for listening. Again, follow us on Twitter at APA something, at alone_podcast. I got it right both times today.
You're the man. You're the fucking man, bro.
Pause weirdly after underscore.
Alone_, podcast.
Check out our merch store on tpublic.com/APA something. Rate and review us on iTunes. We don't ever ask you to do that, but we're asking you now.
Peas and carrots.
I don't know what that means.
Please and thank you.
Oh, okay. That too.
Yeah.
All of our music is provided by those cats.
You gotta stay sassy.
Stay cats.
Vodka, whiskey,